James Sheldon, IFLTV, MTK Global with the former WBA World Champion, the Miracle Man, none other than Danny Jacobs. Firstly, Danny, it's great to get you on the channel, champ. How you feeling? How's fight week been for you?
It's been very great. It's been exciting. How about that press conference just a couple minutes ago?
It's electrifying.
Definitely was. I'm glad we can, at least make some hype about the fight, because a lot of people don't know who he is. So he's definitely trying to make a name for himself with the back and forth and the brash talking. But ultimately, it's about what we do inside that square ring, and ultimately making sure these fans get a good fight.
Now, you're very experienced. You've been to the rodeo, as you put it, many times. I mean, has he got under your skin a little bit, and will that affect the way you go into this fight, Danny?
It's not going to change who I am inside that ring, but it did add a little motivation as far as my preparation. I'm motivated also by a different reason. You got to understand, having a second chance to be back in the square ring. You got to understand, this was all taken away from me a couple years ago. So the fact that I'm able to be inside the ring and be at press conferences and be on HBO and do so many great things, I'm living in my dream. Life is blissful for me right now. So there's nothing that he can do or say that'll make me feel otherwise. But to know that a young, hungry lion is trying to come and take and spoil all of my dreams, I definitely keep that in the back of my mind.
This is a chance for you, a new broadcaster, newfound interest from promoter Eddie Hearn and the British fans. It's a real chance for you to shine and take you potentially back to that moment that you dream of. I mean, how satisfying is it for yourself to be in this position?
Well, first off, I want to send a big shout out to the British fans. I mean, tremendous, huge boxing fans. One day I dreamed to be able to come out there and be able to fight in front of those guys, because talk about electrifying. When I fight in Brooklyn, it's a great vibe, but I know 70, 80,000 people in the stands, loving and appreciating and supporting the sport that we put our lives on the line for. It would be an honor to, come and grace that. But
I know what type of fights you're looking for. I know what type of fights are going to tick your boxes. But until them fights become available, you've got to be ARIAS. You've got to look good in doing that. I mean,
very true.
What sort of fight do you expect it to be?
I expect it to be for maybe the first couple of rounds, him trying to assert himself, assert his dominance, and try to maybe get in my head, or be aggressive, But I've tamed a couple of big names in my day, and power punchers and Mexican style fighters, as they say. I've been able to tame them, and he's no different. But the cool thing about it is that I have all the advantages, the physical advantages rather. I'm longer than him. He actually has short arms to be taller, to be a little taller than what he is. But I have the reach advantage, I have the size advantage. I'm a bigger guy, and I have an 85% knockout ratio. So I think if we do stand in the middle of the ring and bang and don't run like he says, I think the fans will get a good show, because I'm one who second nature is to go in there and try to hurt a guy.
You love during the face-off today. You can see the spitefulness coming out of you a little bit, and it's certainly interesting from a fan's and media's point of view to see the hostility between you both simmering. It makes it a little bit spicier, a little bit more of a spectacle for us.
Yeah, I mean, this is all good. I mean, he had his friends hyping him and backing him up over there in the corner, and they was yelling out stuff. But the pressure will be on when he's in that dressing room, when he knows that there's a couple minutes before he walks out into that square ring, who he will face. That's the pressure. Like I've said before, I've been here before. I fought at the highest level in the middleweight division. And it just helps me to go in there with great confidence to know that, in my opinion, I beat Gennady Golovkin, and I am the best middleweight in the world. So I'm going to perform as such.
I was there the night before Gennady Golovkin. I had the pleasure of covering it for IFLTV and watching the fight live. Everyone had an opinion on the fight. It was very interesting. I think probably tactically the cleverest thing you guys done was missing the second IBF sort of weight to come in supercharged.
Well, that's a misconception. A lot of people feel like I needed to miss the second day weigh in to have a weight advantage, but that's really not the case. I honestly just didn't want to wake up because I had trouble sleeping the night before, and I came into a fight about 74, 75. I think the way they promoted Gennady Golovkin to be the super strong power force, and to have a guy who been knocked out in the past or who's been dropped in the past and was going in as a huge underdog, this guy was going to be knocked out without a doubt. So the fact that I was neutralized him down to a jab, they had to make excuse, and I was taking his punches.
Your switch hitting style as well.
His power punches at that. I was taking them, and they had to make an excuse for why that was the case. So I think my weight was a bit dragged out, but you know, they made cases before where Gennady Golovkin was sparring and knocking out heavyweights and light heavyweights. So what was the difference between my weight inside the ring that night and all the other guys that he actually sparred? So my job is not to, also my job is really not to complain about those things. I have a new chapter in my life. Like Eddie Hearn said, this is the Daniel Jacobs 2.0. And I have to take advantage of these opportunities, and I have to make sure that I look impressive. That's really what it's about. I love boxing. I love getting on good shows, and I also like watching my highlights. So, you know, if I'm in there, I want to make sure I have something to go back and look on. And the fans have something to say, you know, you seen that fight last week? This guy Jacobs, he's a real deal. I'm pushing for him. So I'm looking to build my fan base and give the fans a great show.
Billy Joe Saunders is facing David Lemieux.
Yeah.
That's the WBO belt. That's him out of the equation for a little while. Potentially, Golovkin and Canelo, are they going to dance again?
Yeah.
We're speculating, but that obviously ties them out of the picture. What contenders does that leave you viable for that big fight? To get in their marquee moments.
Right.
Who would you want to fight?
Who would I want to fight? If those fight was
with the stipulations that I just mentioned, when the fight's already taking place.
I mean, I've mentioned it before. I'm willing to fight the best fighters that's out there. I have a team now that's making sure they're taking me in the right direction, and whatever makes sense. You have to understand, I fear no man. Andre! Okay, my trainer has a shirt, and it says, I fear no man. I wanted you guys to get that, but at the end of the day, there's no one that I fear and no challenge that I'm not up for, so I want to make that clear. But whatever decision my promotion and my management takes me in is the one I'm going to go with.
Would you be keen on the Charlo fight? Would that be a priority?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, I've loved the Charlo brothers because I've seen them grow up and I've seen them come into the men that they are, and I've always supported their career. But you have to understand, this is boxing, and we're all trying to feed our family. And at the end of the day, you have to understand, these guys, or Jamal Charlo, or David Lemieux, BJ Stein, anybody in the middleweight division is trying to step in that way, and they're trying to prevent me from feeding my family. So I have to look at everybody as a threat, and he's no different. Like I've said before, he can get this work. It's no different from him and nobody else.
Potentially some big fights in the mix, so you've got to come from Luis Arias first on Saturday.
And that's what my focus is. I hate talking about other fighters when I have a fight on the line, because in essence it's taken away from the challenger, and you know, I never like doing that. So I can't overlook this guy. You know, he's talking one heck of a game. I have to take him serious until proven otherwise. But ultimately, I'm looking forward to being and proving myself to be the best middleweight in the world.
Before you go, give me one fact as the word of the day about Daniel Jacobs that I might not know.
One fact that you might not know is that, do you know how I started boxing? I started boxing because of a bully. I was 14 years old, and I got picked on in junior high school, and I found out that this same kid was going down to the local boxing gym where he was taking up boxing classes. I said, okay, I can go down there, learn how to box, do it the right way. And when I went down there, our trainer let us box the second week. I beat him up. He never returned, and I stuck with it, and here I am today. Yeah.
David Jacobs, you're a classy guy.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.